I want it to be over and done with. I do. I'm tired, boss. Mostly I'm tired of people being ugly to each other. I'm tired of all the pain I feel and hear in the world every day. There's too much of it. It's like pieces of glass in my head all the time. Can you understand?
Hey guys, so I've been sitting on whether or not I should do a video about this, but since there have been some new details that have surfaced on how people have been handling this and taking advantage of it, I think now is time to throw my 2 cents into the jar. And if you legitimately don't know what I'm talking about, I have to admire your tenacity of being that oblivious. I wonder what it's like, not really having to worry about this kind of stuff and generally not giving a shit. I'm talking about the death of George Floyd, an African American man that was killed by a police officer who was arresting him under the guise that he had used a counterfeit $20 bill to buy cigarettes. He was held down by 4 police officers, one of which putting his knee on the back of his neck for nearly 15 minutes. Most of that time, he was crying out that he couldn't breathe, and for the last 5 minutes became unresponsive. He was taken to a hospital and pronounced dead on arrival. There's no other way to put this, and there's no sugarcoating it. That was more than police brutality. That was fucking murder. And rightfully so, people around the country has banded together to advocate for the arrest and sentences of this obviously crooked cop. You don't need a trial. There's literally videotaped evidence of this happening. Just toss him in the hole and throw away the hole. And as for the officers that were with him, are equally as guilty and should at least be fired and face jail time for accessory to manslaughter. But that's not why I'm making this video. I wish I could end the video right there and let it be that simple. But that would be way too fucking boring. You know I'm here to roast people. The way people have been handling it, it's so wrong. This radical side has this mentality of, if you're not with me, then you're against the cause entirely. And they try to say that you should understand why we're doing this, and then take that as support in itself. But people are rioting, destroying cop cars, looting, stealing, fighting each other, fighting the police, and I just gotta say, I just gotta lay down how I feel about it. You are dead fucking wrong to stoop down to their level. And yes, I am aware that some of these have been staged and traps set to try to spur people on, causing some of these riots to happen. Hell, some of these peaceful protests have escalated into riots because police started attacking, tear gassing, and macing the protesters. So yes, I do understand why. But you shouldn't have given in and played into their hands. Now, I've been pretty vocal about this on my Facebook. Yeah, I know, who uses Facebook anymore? Well, every time I try to make a new Twitter account, I get fucked over. So yari, go fuck yourselves, Twitter Puritans. I've been speaking out against these riots and looting, saying that it isn't the right thing to do, because that's actually the right mindset that any normal fucking person should have about this. Fucking up a Target and stealing the most expensive merchandise isn't gonna help the cause. Rioting and ruining a small business isn't going to help black people at all.
So you're saying that material objects are more valuable than the lives of black people?
I am so sick of seeing this argument being thrown around, especially towards white people. Nobody is saying that those stores and the things they sell are more valuable than a person's life. And those very few who are actually saying that are ignorant as fuck, so ignore them. The fact still stands. It's still wrong. You're putting other people at risk for your own selfishness. The people whose businesses you're wrecking, that's probably all they've got. And you're destroying what they've spent years to build and achieve because you want to be a fucking retard. And as for those bigger store chains, guess who's going to have to pick that up? Because I'm pretty sure Joe Skate from Diamond is Unbreakable is going to come in with Crazy Diamond and fix all the broken glass and shelves that were destroyed. Someone most likely an underpaid minority, is going to have to come clean that shit up. You're destroying your own community. You see this man? Corby Bala? Am I butchering your name? Anyway, he was preparing to open a sports bar. That bar was hit by rioters and looters. This man spent his entire life savings on opening that bar, and they burned it down. Hell, while he and his family were there assessing the damage, there were people in the back trying to steal the safe. What about these guys, huh? They don't have any insurance, yet you just fucked up their entire lifelong dream with, might I add, no insurance to cover the damages and loss of property, if you were wondering. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you honestly can't see what the long-term effects of all this damage is going to do to us in the long run, then you're lost. But the police attacked us first. Like I said before, you shouldn't have retaliated the way that you did. You should have just kept on peacefully protesting. Because now you made us look like fucking idiots with short fuses. Remember Martin Luther King Jr.? Remember the civil rights movement against segregation? The protests he participated were all peaceful, marching, sitting silently on diner bar stools where the white people were only designated to go. And you better believe they challenged him. They beat him. They jailed him. And after that was all over, they assassinated him. But guess what? He didn't go, yo, these crackers ain't listening to us, so let's burn these fucking stores and shit. No! He kept at it with the peaceful protest, and when it was broadcasted how the protesters were being treated, hosed down to fire hoses, torn up by dogs, beaten within an inch of their lives for just breathing, that's when America finally listened, and then we got our equal rights. We didn't achieve it by looting stores and attacking police cruisers. If anything, that hurts the cause. And the fact that his own son, Martin Luther King III, doesn't understand his own father's philosophies is very concerning. He tweeted this: as my father explained during his lifetime, a riot is the language of the unheard. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I studied a lot about Martin Luther King Jr. growing up, since I grew up in the Detroit public school system. Fuck those bastards. Did he ever once participate in these riots? Did he tell them to go through with them? Tell them to break some shit and steal some shit? No? Then what the fuck are you talking about? All this statement does is point out that MLK understood the feelings behind the riots. But that does not equal support. He wouldn't be supportive of any of this shit if he was alive today. And he'd condemn you for twisting his words and making them out to context to support your bullshit. Returning the hate for hate multiplies hate, adding deeper darkness to a night already devoid of stars. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. That's what he'd quote. And that's what his son should have quote. Not even George Floyd's family members are supportive of the rioting and looting. And the fact that people are using his death and taking advantage of it for their own selfish gain is disgusting. I am so disappointed on how these guys are handling it. Instead of looking where we came from and following by example, we've got idiots giving into what these racist white cops want. And I have yet to have someone explain to me how the fuck these riots, this looting, and the destruction of our own community is supposed to help anybody. 2020, what the fuck is going on? This year is a complete shit show. What's next? Earthquakes in Yellowstone? Oh, god damn it was a joke!